We are no longer talking about if blockchain will happen. We are talking about which blockchain will become the global standard. Huh? Larry Fink, the man who manages over $10 trillion, just issued a warning. We need to move faster on tokenization. But he didn't stop there. He spoke about one common blockchain, a shared ledger where stocks, bonds, and money markets move as one. And while Finn sets the vision, the World Economic Forum just named the tool. They explicitly called the Ripple protocol a viable alternative for frictionless payments. In today's video, I'm connecting the dots between Finn's megatrends and the massive deployment happening right now in Davos. From the $5 trillion Hogan integration to the rise of the Phoenix, the infrastructure is being turned on in real time. Welcome to the Calm Analyst. Larry Fink doesn't just manage money, he manages the direction of global capital. And lately, he has been repeating two words at every single speaking engagement: AI and tokenization. But if you listen closely to his most recent statements from the Davos stage in January 2026, he went a step further. He didn't just talk about digital assets. He spoke about the necessity of one common blockchain. Think about the weight of that statement. Fink is arguing for a future where we move away from siloed systems, where your money market funds, your equities, and your bonds are no longer separated by different clearinghouses and 3-day settlement periods. He is envisioning a world where every asset moves on a single shared ledger. He called it decimalization, the democratization of finance by reducing fees and removing the middleman. But here is the question most people aren't asking. Will it be Ethereum, which currently holds the majority of tokenized assets? Will it be Solana? Or will it be the XRP ledger, which was built specifically for the institutional speed and compliance that BlackRock CK requires? Fink is telling us that the banking system is being left behind. He's talking to world leaders and central bankers, telling them that the migration to a superior ledger technology is no longer optional. It is a race for survival. The next 2 years, 2026 and 2027, will be the most impactful years we have ever seen in the financial markets. We are talking about trillions of dollars in stocks, derivatives, and real estate moving on-chain at breakneck speeds. When the man who sits at the top of the financial pyramid tells you that the activities on a common blockchain will be more secure and more processed than ever, he isn't making a prediction. He is giving you the global blueprint. The institutions aren't coming. They have already decided where the money is going to flow. While Larry Fink is setting the high-level vision, the World Economic Forum, the architects of the Great Reset, just published the instruction manual. In their latest 2026 Davos report, they didn't just mention blockchain as a trend, they identified it as a core driver for the global economy. But look at the specific language they used. The WF explicitly cataloged the Ripple protocol as a viable alternative for a frictionless payment solution. This isn't a theory anymore. This is an official endorsement. The report highlights a case study that many of you might have missed. Fire Bank. They documented how this institution adopted the Ripple protocol for internal settlement to achieve real-time efficiency. But here is the real bombshell in the document. The WF states that if the use of the Ripple protocol were to expand to other banks, it would eliminate the need for automated clearinghouses and correspondent banks. Think about what that means. They are talking about removing the friction that has defined the banking system for the last 50 years. They are calling XRP and the Ripple ledger a real-time settlement rail that sits behind the scenes. This explains why Brad Garlinghouse is a key speaker at Davos this year. He isn't there to sell a token to retail investors. He is there because the World Economic Forum sees Ripple as the gateway to the new, non-traditional payment network. The WF even mentions Bitcoin-denominated bank accounts, but they highlight Ripple as the rail that makes it all work between institutions. Think wants one ledger, the WF wants frictionless payments / and they both keep pointing to the same infrastructure. The narrative is shifting from speculative assets to settlement utility. if the most powerful organizations in the world are explicitly cataloging Ripple as the solution to legacy infrastructure failure / why are people still looking for signals elsewhere / the signal isn't in the noise of social media, the signal is in the white papers of Davos. Everything we just discussed from the Davos white papers, the alternative rails and frictionless settlement is no longer a theoretical exercise / On January 21st, 2026, the world of traditional finance received a massive wake-up call. DXC Technology, a giant that manages the mission-critical systems for the world's biggest banks, announced a strategic partnership with Ripple. They aren't just testing blockchain. They are integrating Ripple's institutional technology directly into the Hogan core banking platform. Let me give you the scale of what we are talking about here. The Hogan platform powers over 300 million deposit accounts and manages more than 5 trillion in global deposits. This is the last-mile connectivity that the World Economic Forum was talking about. Pause. For years, banks were stuck in the pilot phase because they didn't want to rip out and replace their legacy systems. It was too risky. It was too expensive. But DXC just solved that problem. By embedding Ripple custody, Ripple payments, and the RLUSD stablecoin directly into Hogan, they have given 40 of the world's largest banks a turnkey solution. They don't have to change their core systems, they don't have to rewrite their compliance protocols, they just have to turn it on. This is how real adoption happens. It is quiet, it is professional, and it is massive. When you hear Sandip Banote, the global head of financial services at DXC, say that institutions need seamless payment capabilities to move into the mainstream, he is telling you that the bridge is built. And when Joni C. from Ripple confirms that RLUSD and XRP-powered payments are now inside the core banking environments that institutions already trust, she is telling you that the alternative rail is now the standard rail. Retail investors are waiting for a listing or a tweet, but the smart money is watching the API integrations. We are moving from a world of experimentation to a world of production. 5 trillion is now one software update away from moving on the XRP ledger. The infrastructure isn't coming. It is already embedded in the heart of the system. If you're wondering when the explosion happens, Sandy Call from Franklin Templeton just gave us the date, 2026. We are moving away from the clunky solutions where tokens were just wrappers for off-chain trusts. We are entering the era of native tokenization. When a bond or an equity is issued on-chain from day one, the entire legacy settlement system dies. No more T+2, no more reconciliation, just instant programmable value. And the biggest signal of all, the New York Stock Exchange, NYC, just announced a new venue for 247 trading and on-chain settlement of tokenized equities. They aren't using the old DTC Depository Trust Company infrastructure for this. They are building a separate blockchain-native venue. This is the one common blockchain that Larry Frink was talking about. Even BNY Mellon, the oldest bank in America, is now running money market funds designed to hold reserves for stable coins under the Genius Act. They are reporting record results because they embrace digital assets while others hesitated. Ethereum currently leads with 65% of tokenized assets. But the landscape is shifting. As the XRP Ledger, Solana, and HAR prove their utility as institutional rails, the dominance will diversify. The rise of the phoenix that Caroline Pham and the XRP community talk about isn't just a myth. It is a metaphor for a financial system that must burn its old, slow infrastructure to be reborn as something faster, cheaper, and more inclusive. The institutions have ditched the fast fixes. They are now building for the long term. You are no longer early to a speculation. You are on time for a total migration of global wealth. In a market fueled by emotion and noise, we thrive on data and composure. Remember, haste leads to loss, while calm analysis leads to victory. So, thank you for your trust, and thank you for being part of this rational community. So, I am the calm analyst. Stay patient, stay rational, stay patient. And as we always do, we don't wait for the future. We plan for it. Stay safe.